Well, Chris and I were off the air for just literally like 3 minutes, and then, yeah, that same cell that was in Hart County now has re-intensified. National Weather Service now has issued a tornado warning for you folks in Anderson County. That does include probably very close to you folks in Starr, but mainly downtown Anderson, all the way over to Williamston. Does this include the Belton area? Let's zoom in a little bit tighter, Chris, and see. That's almost, he's showing a little bit of a hook there. North Lake, yeah, Belton, Williamston, you're all under tornado warning. You need to go to your safe spot immediately, as you're not going to be able to see this. Obviously, it's at nighttime, but also it may be rain-wrapped tornado as it moves quickly off to the northeast at up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. See this? There it is, a little bit of that circulation right there, Chris. Getting a little bit tighter. Still fairly broad, though. It was much, but seeing what it looked like back then. Storm tracker showing Campbell at 8:32, Belton at 9:36, Pelzer at 9:41, and North Lake at 9:26. And there it is, right there. A little bit of a hook, Chris. That's actually the first time we've actually seen a little bit of a hook echo on these cells. Normally, it's just right in the middle where it's rain-wrapped. And this one's heading for you folks in downtown Anderson. So you guys need to take cover immediately. This cell is moving so fast, you don't have time to stand around, and hopefully we'll be under this watch most of the day today, so everybody should know exactly where they need to go during the tornado warning. So that's where you need to go immediately. It's a pretty impressive looking cell that's reformed after we have two cells here, Chris, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's split, maybe two cells moved in together. Chris, what you got?
Yeah, two cells there. One that is producing the rotation in Anderson County. That is the most dangerous one that we have on live Super Doppler 4 HD right now. And this is moving into an area that is heavily populated there in Anderson County. So please take this seriously in Anderson County. Anywhere in Anderson County, hearing the sound of our voices right now, please go to your safe spot. Get in the interior part of your home. This is a dangerous storm moving toward Anderson. It will likely go over north of downtown Anderson, so we're going to have to watch that very closely. I'm going to pause it right here. We're going to zoom into street level and show you what we're talking about, because this is one of the strongest storms that we've seen all night long, and it is encountering an area that actually saw a little bit of sunshine between our first line and our second line here, and we do have this rotation that is going to move right over downtown Anderson. Let's put a track on it here, because it looks like it's going to go just north of downtown. So if you're hearing the sound of our voice here in northern Anderson County, downtown Anderson, Evergreen Hills, Campbell, Belton, we're talking to you. Williamston, we're talking to you. Please get to your safe spot. Get on the phone right now. Call your family and friends in Anderson County. This is a very dangerous storm. You want to urge them to seek shelter right now, because this is one dangerous storm that is moving across the county. I want to put you on alert in Greenville County. The warning is not for you yet, but this is a dangerous storm that has had a history of producing rotation all the way back toward Commerce, Georgia. So in southern Greenville County, I want you to be on alert that this could soon move into your neck of the woods within the next hour. I would say by around 10 o'clock, could be crossing into the Greenville County area. So please, the Golden Strip, Malden, Simpsonville, Fountain Inn, down toward Moonville, you need to be on alert. If you have family or friends there, it's nighttime, it's a school night. Kids could be getting ready for bed right now. You need to just kind of be weather aware, as we like to say, because this is a dangerous storm chugging toward the west here. A tornado warning now for Anderson County until 9:45. Next on the docket would be Greenville County. Let's get in and analyze these winds right here as they are continuing to push toward the east. I'll put a storm track on this. Pause it here for you so you can see where it's going. That rotation is right there near that hook, as John was mentioning. I'll stop it at the warning. Mason's Crossroad at 9:24, North Lake at 9:28, Williamston at 9:42, and Piedmont at 9:45. And as we've been mentioning, this is one potent line moving through the area, and we've got a tremendous amount of wind energy in our atmosphere. John and I stepped outside literally about 15 minutes or so before this warning was issued. You just feel it. As a meteorologist, you could just sense how unstable it is, the amount of wind energy going on just above our heads. It is a wind machine, right, John? I mean, that air is just a cranking up there, and any storm that forms and gets tall enough immediately begins to rotate, and that's what we have in Anderson County. Yep. This is a very dangerous storm.
Absolutely, Chris. And what you were saying when we walked outside, if you walked outside earlier this evening before sunset, see how fast those clouds were racing off from the southwest to northeast? And it's almost like you could almost touch those clouds. They were so low, and they were just flying. That shows you that it's not too high up above the ground, that we have very, very strong winds. And we've got winds that change in direction. That's the reason why we're talking about wind shear. We have winds coming from one direction, then as you go up from height, they're going the opposite way. And that's how you can spin up a brief tornado. So tornado warning continues for you folks in Anderson County. You need to go to your safe place very, very quickly. This warning goes until 9:45 of this evening. And a pretty impressive looking cell right here. And again, a little bit of a bow echo. So where is my safe room? Well, on your house, unfortunately, most of us here don't have basements. In your house, you want to go to the lowest floor. If you have a basement, that's the best place to be. But for the most part, most of us don't have basements. So you want to go down to the lowest floor, not anywhere in the the lowest floor, interior hallway, or maybe a bathroom. Especially in a bathroom like this that doesn't have any windows. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as you can possibly can. So that way if flying debris comes through, it's got to go through a lot of walls before it gets to you. If you have time in Anderson County, if you got a twin bed, grab that mattress, bring it into you in the bathroom, lay flat in the bathtub, put the mattress over you. If you have time to grab the pillow to protect yourself from flying debris, that would be a great idea to do. And you can see that the cell continues to be quite strong as it's moving through Anderson County. That's the only game in town right now. It's the only warnings that we have up and down this line of very intense thunderstorms. So let's zoom in a little bit, Chris, and see what the velocity looks like, if you could, please. Let's see. Here's Anderson. Still a little bit of a notch. Looks like it's fairly broad. Let's go a little bit tighter. Let's see if we can flatten it out a little bit, Chris, as far as the angle, and see what we've got here. Not as impressive as it was earlier, that's for sure. That could be some good news. It's not as tight. Do you see that, Chris?
Yeah, I do.
It looks pretty broad between North Lake and Anderson now of the circulation. So maybe it's starting to brighten out, and that would be great news. But either way you look at it, it's still a very strong storm, and it's still capable of producing at least some damaging straight line winds, even if it's not a tornado. But it still has that little bit of a hook as it comes right between North Lake and Anderson. So interesting to see how that circulation not as strong, Chris, at least right now. Let's hope that continues.
It looks like it's cycling, John. I mean, we've seen it go up in intensity as it moved over Lake Hartwell, then it crashed back down. Now it's picking back up. Almost wonder if this cell that split off from it down toward Hart County is kind of robbing of some of its energy there as it's trying to move on through. Look at this notch right here over Evergreen Hills. If that's probably right in there where we're seeing some circulation, because what we're seeing here is our radar site. You see the red beam go, which is in alert mode here. You've got that wind that's going away from our radar site, then you've got the wind that's going toward it, and it creates a notch in the radar. So while it may not be very clear here on the storm relative velocity, you can see it a little bit, but it does match up right there where that notch is on Evergreen Hills. And you can zoom right in here to community level. There's Evergreen Hills. We're going to zoom into a town here. You say, I'm going to have to look down a little bit closer here, guys. Forgive me. There's McGee Road. There's West Park Road. There's where that notch is. Glenwood Avenue, moving toward Highway 178. That looks to be the most dangerous part of this storm. I'm going to put a storm track on it from that notch as this storm is moving very fast toward the north and east. I'll go toward the warning box there. It goes toward Cheddar at 9:39, Williamston at 9:41. So, folks, you have to know this has had a history of producing funnel clouds. It's had a history of producing rotating thunderstorms as far back as almost Atlanta. And now that it's in Anderson County, it has had a history of producing some rotation there. And this is a very strong line. And looking up and down it, John, this is what we're going to have to watch closely as this moves into Spartanburg County, Cherokee County, Union County, Greenville County, Lawrence, into parts of Greenwood and Newberry County. Abbeville, there we got another warning right there, John.
Oh, yeah, we got
just
one.
Just popped up.
That's another warning, yeah.
Take that one.
That's just, looks like, would that be, looks like just the eastern and southeastern part of Madison County, maybe, if you zoom on in.
Sure is. It's right there near south of Elberton. So we're one county over from Elbert County.
Yep, and it's there, and you can see there's Athens. So that cell is just southeast of you folks in Athens. You're in the all clear, heading toward Enterprise, and maybe over toward Washington. So that's just south of you folks in Elberton and Elbert County, but it could skirt by, Chris, right into maybe looks like the southeastern part of Elbert County.
Yeah,
Certainly a
eventually
possibility.
Abbeville County. And just getting a reconfirmation here, they're continuing that warning until 9:45 here in Anderson County. You see it flashing there. That's just a reconfirmation that it's there. It's going to stay with us until 9:45. You see this northern part of the cell. Let's check on this line that was rotating there in northern Greenville County, John, because this one had a history of producing some rotation. It looks like it has broadened out. But as we were concerned, that was a very mountainous area that storm was trying to survive through in Greenville County. That's Caesar's Head. In fact, the highest part of Greenville County. And does Paris Mountain go up higher? I'm not sure, but
Caesar's Head.
Caesar's Head is okay. Yeah, it goes up high there. It just kind of tore the storm up. But now that it's moving into some lower lands here over eastern Greenville County into the foothills of Polk County into Rutherford County, we're going to have to watch that closely. But this line here sitting all the way back. And let's look at this one down here that could impact you folks in Elbert County, because if it continued, it would be in Abbeville County as well. John, that's got some pretty bright returns. See that bright green going toward our radar.
Boy, no kidding. That is super bright right there. Bright green heading toward the radar site, which is heading toward our radar site. And then not as bright red on the back side of it. So it's not real bright red, obviously, here. It's almost kind of a lighter red, so not strong here, but it certainly has got a pretty good inflow, that's for sure. There's a strong inflow going into this cell. Let's see what it looked like. Yeah, even
just
going
switched
back.
to Peachtree City.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit better now. Well,
kind of. Yeah, it's like you get a better look. I switched it from GSP, our radar, to the Atlanta radar.
So you got to realize. So now so you got to look at it almost the opposite color.
I flipped you around, John.
Yeah, because he just made the switch. This is now coming out of the National Weather Service in Atlanta, which is south of Atlanta. And so now you got the green now is heading toward the radar site here and moving this way. So you still have your counterclockwise circulation right there. Interesting to see how that fired up pretty quickly. So that actually did come out of the National Weather Service out of the Atlanta office, because they would be in charge of that county and through there, especially in through Madison County until you get up into Elbert County. So interesting cell there going on. We'll have to watch that one closely. And that's back here on the southern line. So really, this is what we don't like to see, is actually kind of a weaving back and forth, not a straight line, squall line. Because if it was straight, we would be dealing with just basically straight line winds. But having this little wiggle here, that's as Chris was mentioning, you get the bow echo. That's these winds coming down really strong, and it pushes the line, the reds, out farther than the rest of the line. So then you end up with kind of a curvy thing like this. And that's the strongest winds, or the peak of that bow echo. That's where you could get 60, 70 mile per hour straight line winds. So these storms mean business. And so far, we have the 2 tornado warnings that continue. This one goes in Anderson County until about the next 15 minutes or so, 9:45. Is that correct, Chris? I do believe.
That's right, 9:45.
Let's take a look at that circulation again and see what it was looking like, because it was going through a little bit of recycling, a little bit, so to speak.
Radar looks impressive with that notch, but then when you look at the velocity,
the notch right in through here, still very impressive looking. And it's still not bad. This is out of Atlanta. This is actually out of GSP, right?
It is.
This is out of GSP. So we're looking at the right thing, heading toward the radar site. Still a little good circulation here. It's not bright, but notice it's right in that notch, in that same area. So the winds are coming down through here, just being pushed out, and just like this.
Concord Avenue, right
this way. There you go, and then coming around. So right in through here is where we have some pretty good circulation, and there it is. It just moved up to here. And it could be even rain wrapped again, so you may not even be able to see this at all. Of course, it's at nighttime, so it'd be very difficult to see it. Usually, when I used to chase tornadoes at nighttime, we'd have very electrical storms. This is not the case. We have very little lightning actually associated with these storms coming through, Chris, which is kind of interesting. So they're not going up very high in the atmosphere, only about 15, 20,000 feet up. So we still have the warning for about the next 10 minutes or so. There's the cross section. Yeah, let's see how tall this sucker is. Let's go back. Well, that's kind of interesting right there.
This is kind of interesting because that's the tornado warned cell. You've got the gap there. Look at the hail core.
Yep, there's your hail core, but it's way up here. That's up around, 10,000 feet. So thank goodness it's up here. Let's hope all this hail here melts before it hits the ground. It's got 10,000 feet to do it, so let's hope so, because we're so warm and humid outside. It's going up to around still 20,000 feet. This has been the tops of these thunderstorms, really, for the most part, all day long. They're not going up to your usual 35, 40, 45, 50,000 feet. So the updrafts aren't really bringing it all the way up, and that's because we have such strong winds aloft, not so high up in the atmosphere, so they're being sheared apart from the strong winds up around 20,000 feet. Still got a pretty good notch here, so we're going to have to watch it, and that's the reason why this warning continues, Chris, as this cell is going to head over here toward Highway 29 and heading toward Williamston and also Cheddar and eventually maybe even over to Belton. Probably stay north of you folks in Belton. Let's put this in motion, Chris, and see, is it going more east to northeast?
I'll slow it down here for us.
Yeah, it looks like it's going. Yeah, it looks like it's almost turning more to the east northeast, huh?
It does
a little bit. If you widen out,
it missed downtown Anderson.
Looks like it stayed just to the north of you folks in Anderson. It was close, and now it's heading toward Williamston and Belton. So we'll see about the circulation. We'll see if the Weather Service decides to update this and keep the warning going a little bit longer, extend the warning into maybe possibly over into Greenville County. Either way, we're going to have to watch these showers with very, very heavy rain. So here's some circulation now. Let's see where's that in relation to that notch. There's the notch.
It's located pretty close, which...
yeah, it's still pretty close. And still getting it. That's still pretty. It's a little bit broader circulation right through here, but still, that's not bad, Chris. That's still... It's certainly a strong enough circulation to keep the tornado warning going, that's for sure, because it most likely at least is a funnel cloud, and it may just be hanging just barely above the ground. But if it intensifies, it could briefly touch the ground, the tornado itself.
And we'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
Let's look at this, because this notch is the concerning part. I mean, the rest of the line itself has basically one solid line, and that would just tell you that there's strong winds moving through in unison. But once you get these notches here, or like a little... cut in it, basically, it just basically tells you that one part of that line is trying to outrun the other parts, and that rotation, when one tries to outrun it, it creates that rotation, and you get possibly a tornado there. So that notch is the concern, as I'll draw it for you on the radar first. You got, there we go, another radar scan coming through. Highway 76, you're under the most dangerous part of this storm. The wind coming this way behind it. Let me click my tool again. There we go. That's going toward our radar site, which is in Anderson County. I mean, we're in an optimal spot here to document this storm as it's moving through, because Live Super Doppler 4HT is located just a few miles away from this. So you got the wind going that way with the storm. Now I'm going to turn on the velocities, and you can see that confirmed. You got that red that's going away from the radar. Now, you've got a line that's moving through. Why would there be any wind that's going the opposite way? That's the concern here, is anytime there's this red, it should all be green if this was another day, but this red that's going away from the radar site is the concern. The green is going toward it, and that is co-located right there with where that notch is, right in here. So that's the concern, is this cell in Anderson County continues to cycle. Let's put a storm track on this. Basically, this whole line right here is kind of zigzaggy as it's moving toward the east. Williamston at 9:39, Pelzer at 9:40, and should this continue, I'm going to walk over here and show it to you full if we can. Take it up there, guys. I'm going to get a little closer here to show you what it's doing. If it should continue on its same path, we want to let you guys know in southern Greenville County that this could be heading towards you. It's been a storm that we've watched all the way back toward Atlanta that has cycled from stronger to weaker, and right now it's on its stronger side here in Anderson County. You see that zigzagness to it. That's just parts of this cell that's trying to outrun it. So you folks in southern Greenville County, I'm talking to you in Malden, Simpsonville, Fountain Inn, down toward Moonville. This could be soon heading into your neck of the woods. Same story for Lawrence County. It would be the northern tip of Lawrence County and then the southern tip of Spartanburg County here. So again, just putting a path on it here as it continues on its same path toward the east. That would be the concern here as we look at it very closely. So Anderson proper, downtown, you are safe from this tornado warned part of the storm. You're going to get some more rain, very heavy rainfall with it, but the tornadic side of it is now in this northeastern part of Anderson County. So south and west of here, Townville, along Lake Hartwell, you're certainly seeing some rain, but you're not in a dangerous situation right now, as is northeastern Anderson County. I want to go ahead and let you know in Greenville County, this is heading right towards you there. So, John, this continues to be the strongest of the storms that we're watching right here. We've been keeping an eye on that cell in northern Greenville County, but this southern one is definitely one that means business. And look at this line that's now approaching our radar site there. And we got the GSP radar on as well. You can see as it moves toward us, we're going to be able to see it. Our TV station's right about there. We should soon see some very gusty winds and some very heavy rainfall. Again, the lightning not present with this as we look at it there. There's our radar site. Again, looking at Greenville County, it's heading towards you probably within 30 minutes.